Ruins. 5 hover cars full of soldiers take me to Victoria. They aren't city cars flying on silent magnets. They're military grade with lifting fans to keep their armored bulk in the sky. The engine roar drowns out everything inside the cabin, and our rotor wash incises the desert below. A traveling sandstorm. "You're late for an appointment," my father's voice whispers in my ear. "Lunch with the Palafoxes." It's just Rafi's Serrano, but it startles me. I hardly slept last night. My clothes feel wrong on my body. I've dressed like Rafi 1,000 times before, but it's different without her sitting here next to me. Like they're really my clothes now. Why are we late? I turn to the soldier in the next jump seat. She's taller than me, broad across the shoulders, her body surged into a fighting machine. The Serrano reminds me her name, Sergeant Tani Slidell. She commands this unit. Shouldn't we be there by now? I yell over the engine noise. She glances to the right, checking an eye screen. 8 minutes, miss. We're taking a detour over the ruins. I look out the closest window, a rectangle of 10 centimeters thick ferroglass. The mountains are to the west, bright red in the high sun. The rebels hide in those mountains, always watching the ruins for opportunities to harry and attack the Palafox's salvage operations. The point of traveling in force was to get me to Victoria safe and quick. Why the detour? The engine vibration rattles my voice. Orders, miss. A little recon. I twitch every time they call me miss. No one on this trip, the soldiers, the pilots, the diplomatic staff, knows I'm an imposter, or even a hostage. The news feeds are calling this a friendly visit, cementing an alliance of 2 first families. It's safer like this. No one can give me away, but it feels lonely. I've always shared my secrets with Rafi, and now she's 300 clicks away, farther than she's ever been before. So is my pulse knife. Out the window, the ruins are drawing closer, a dark patch on the desert. An ancient skyscraper stands tall, its skeleton picked clean by hovering salvage drones. The rest of the dead city lies in a jumble at its feet. Metal spires jutting from the sand. Century drones bob in the wind, studded with armaments. The hover car's engines drop into a sudden silence. The vibrations aftershock ripples across my skin. We're on magnets now, miss, Sergeant Slidell explains. Right. Plenty of metal down there. No need for lifting fans. Metal is what this fight is all about. In the last month, I've learned a lot more about the rebels. They say they're following Tally Youngblood's oath, fighting anything that threatens the wild. They say the new cities are being built too fast, and that recycling the ruins only brings us closer to the day that strip mining starts again. They think we'll all turn back into Rusties soon, knocking down mountains, burning down forests, and poisoning the air. The first families promise that the rebels are wrong, that they'll stop building new cities once the ruins are depleted. They say the wild is safe, but everyone knows that promises aren't sacred anymore, and Tally herself isn't around to weigh in. I look out the window again. Can 2 months really be long enough to strip all this bare? The lights in the cabin turn yellow. Ready stations, Slidell calls out, then turns to me. Just a precaution, miss. The rebels aren't dangerous. I shake my head. If they weren't dangerous, the Palafoxes wouldn't need us here. Slidell nods, surprised that Rafi knows anything about such matters. She thinks I've been studying irregular verbs all my life. True, miss, but we're not like those Palafox wimps. She pulls back a bolt on the side of her rifle. An air screen comes alive above its optics, showing internal temperature and ammo count. We come ready to fight. The rebels know that. You think they're scared of us? Not as much as they will be, but they won't mess with 5 of our best gunships. I stare out the window again. The ruins are below us now, spread out across the desert like broken toys. Time to arrival, I murmur. 11 minutes, the Serrano says. Slidell just said 8 minutes. We must be angling away from Victoria closer to the mountains. That fact and the sound of my father's voice jog a memory in my brain. I remember being 12, Naya fitting me for my first body armor, teaching me how to duck and cover, how to suture my own wounds. And I realized that I wasn't just my sister's guardian, but also a way to draw fire. Is there any extra armor for me? I ask. Slidell stares at me confused. Then a distant boom sounds, and the hover car rattles around us. The air smells wrong. Alarms begin to ring.